923-967 The Beat. Terry J, Jazzy T. Jazzy, I always love it when you give the intro. Who's sitting next to you?
We have a special guest in the building.
What's up?
All the way from M.I. Cricklet, I. Humpback, I.
Okay, I respect it.
See, that's why I would have messed it up. I would have totally messed it up.
I was waiting. I respect it, though. I was waiting.
We got Big Krit in the building. What's up, Krit?
Man, I'm kicking it. It feels good to be in Atlanta, man. We've been on tour since March 15th. It's been amazing. Sold out shows. We're at the Tabernacle tonight.
Yeah,
so,
two nights.
Two nights. We sold it out. Yeah,
that's
man.
what I'm talking about. They showing you some love.
It's beautiful.
So how does it feel to come here and like your journey from, you started way back in 1999?
Well, I started rapping in 1999.
That's what I'm talking about.
My first project came out in 2005. Krit came out in 2010. I signed in 2010. My first major label album came out in 2012.
There you go. Give people the rundown. Let them know you're a vet in the game.
Yeah,
you're a vet in the game.
It came out in 2014. Forever's a Mighty Long Time came out last year.
Boy, black don't crack because you still looking young.
No, man. I look younger now than I did back then. Yeah,
what you doing? What you doing to take care of yourself?
Man, eating better and not drinking so much.
That's right.
And taking my vitamins and stuff like that.
Look at you taking your vitamins.
Yeah, I grew this hair out too, and that's
look. Hey, represent for me because I think my time is come and gone. My time is come and gone.
So get that beard going.
Hey, that's what I do need to get up. I'm gonna get that game up.
Beard right, no doubt.
The beard changed games.
It changes.
Beard game.
There we go. You gotta make me feel bad, guys. I got a 5 o'clock shadow going on.
Situation. So now are you pretty much doing your own thing?
Yeah, independent is a multi alumni.
What's the difference? Like, what's the difference? Like, talk to me about, because you've been signed, now you're doing independent. Like, what's some of the advantages, disadvantages if you see?
Well, for me, it's like, first off, I don't have to walk into a boardroom and play my music and like wait to see people's responses.
Right.
Like, ain't no more of that. It's like, this is the album, this is how it feels, this is what I want to drop, this is how we move. You still get put in a position where you have to compete with how much a major label might be putting their marketing dollars into a certain project. But if people rock with you and you have that foundation when it comes to music, it really doesn't matter. And then being independent and streaming has changed the narrative of what it means to sell an album, because everybody's going to go gold eventually.
Okay.
It might take you 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
But you're going to go gold because people are always consuming music. They're always listening to it. They don't really ever stop. But for me, it's just a certain kind of freedom that I have now. I can drop anytime I feel like it. I can drop whatever I want. It doesn't have to be rap if I don't want it to be, without having to worry about somebody putting some marketing dollars into it.
There we go. So knowing what you know now,
okay,
if you can go back to younger you and say, young blood, let's do this a little bit different, or do this. What would that advice to younger Big Krit be? I would have waited till 2011 to sign. Okay. I would have made sure I got every sample that I used on the mixtapes. I would have been active about trying to get them cleared immediately, and or just do something different, because they're mixtapes and they stand out there, but you can't sell them if you don't if you don't clear samples. Right. So knowing that process, and then asking them for exactly what I wanted and what I thought I deserved at the time. It was me just taking what I could because I felt like I had hit the ceiling. Right. It was 2010, so Twitter and IG didn't even exist at the time. So you still were in a position where you couldn't tell where your fan base was 100%. Right. Now in hindsight, but I just tell them, man, wait till 2011, drop Return of Forever, and then see what kind of check they offer you. Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. So what can people expect? You're here in Atlanta 2 days in a row. Yes. So apparently they loving Big Krit. Man. So like what can people expect when they see you hit the stage? Man, energy. My voice is like this now, but I'll be fine once I get on stage, because normally it all goes away. But a lot of energy and like more in a spiritual aspect too. A lot of the music that's on Forever's a Mighty Long Time involves a lot of what I go through with anxiety and depression, and being transparent in my music. And so a lot of people are coming now because they're dealing with the same thing in their life. Okay. And so it goes from me being on stage and performing to us just having a moment, the whole building. Yeah. And it's beautiful. And I've been able to see it in a lot of different cities up to this point. And I know Atlanta's been rocking with me since 2010, and since we was at the Loft, and all these places, and Masquerade. Talk about it. To be at Tabernacle. I caught you at a festival in Fort Castle in Kentucky. I know, right? It was so random. I was working. I also work at 101 to Beat in Nashville, and they sent me there. And Fort Castle Festival, they normally don't have any hip hop artists. Not at all. So when I saw Big Krit was performing, I was like, "Yo, send me." That's what you like. Okay, you can go, and it was lit. Fort Castle, the festival. It was in his, like he said, he brings so much energy to his performance.
performance, so that was pretty cool.
I pass out before I go hard on stage. I'm gonna do my best to get the best show possible.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's crazy.
One of them performers. I don't just walk back and forth.
Yeah, you just put your all into it.
Yeah.
You also got Sci-Hi.
Oh, Sci-Hi the Princess.
Child is Major.
Yeah, definitely.
How'd that happen?
Well, shoot, with Sci-Hi the homie, man, I've known Sci-Hi for years.
Yeah.
Back when we was going to Tree Sound, like in 2010. Again.
Okay.
And just seeing the homie get the respect that he deserves too. Not only just being a lyricist, but the creative aspect that goes into his music is amazing. Child is Major actually produced a record on Week of Krit that came out in 2000 and I don't want to say Mount Olympus was a part of that. 2013, Wolf on Wall Street. So he been an amazing producer, but now people get to see the artist in him. And he's an amazing artist too, singer and rapping as well.
Right.
So it's crazy to be out here on tour with my homies and they doing their own thing. It's a really solid show.
It's a good vibe too.
People going as hard as they can.
That's what I'm talking about. That's love, man.
Yeah. Turn it to Tabernacle, huh?
The Tabernacle, shout yes.
2 days, man. That's gonna be crazy. So earlier this week, and it's crazy that you actually spoke on it about anxiety and depression.
Okay.
Earlier in our show, like earlier this week, we talked about the taboo situation, where just of the African American community and mental health.
Okay.
Because you know how it is. It's one of those things that's just not spoken on. Why is it important for you to let your fans know, especially being an African American male? Why is it important for you to be like, I go through this?
We got too much information now. It's like we know too much. You try to take care of your physical. You in the gym, you doing that. Why not take care of your mental?
That's correct.
Right, because that's extremely important. Because there's a lot of people out here that physically look on top of their game, but mentally go home and are dealing with so much. Most the super rich people realize at some point that materialistic things mean nothing, and they try to interact with their family again. They try to build these bonds over again because everybody wants to be loved at the end of the day.
That's
true,
what
you're fighting for. And so me, it's like I think about all the times my dad just went to work, never talked about what he was dealing with, and how hard that had to be on him. Then you get older and then you have an anxiety attack and you don't really know what's happening. The walls are closing. And you're like, what's going on? So I'm starting the process of talking about this now.
I like that.
So maybe some 21, 22-year-old person that's in college and trying to figure out, man, why I don't feel good today? Why ain't nothing connected with me? Because you're disassociating. You're in a point where you're kind of like retracting back into yourself and nothing's really connecting. And so we have to have this dialogue and these conversations.
I like that a lot because you have a fan base. And people look at you.
Supporters.
Right. You have supporters. That's right. There we go. Yeah. And they said, well, if he could talk about it and he could make it real, I go through it, but maybe I don't feel like I'm Big Krit, and so I didn't feel like I could speak out. But if he's speaking out, then I can speak out.
Exactly.
So I love that you're bringing awareness to the community and being like, hey, change some of our ways.
You think Oprah don't go talk to somebody? Stop it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Like all these Oprah got to talk to somebody.
Right, bro. So all these people that we look up to and we admire, they go talk to somebody. And trust me, bro. And it's a totally natural thing, which is it's one of the situations where we got told different. That it was a weak thing. Like, no, bro, not getting yourself together is weak. You got to get right.
There we go. Do you celebrate your accomplishments, or do you keep it? Because I know some artists, they're like, you know what, I'm on the next thing going. But then others is like, you got to stop for a second.
I try to celebrate them, but for me, I know I have so much work to do. Like not only just as a musical level, but as a human being. Like every day, it's a conscious effort to do better, and then think about all the times that I didn't.
Right.
And try to also go recorrect that energy too.
Okay. Well, with that being said, short term, what's a short term goal for Big Krit? And that could be a year, 2 years from now.
Go movie and be in the next Black Panther.
I'm trying to tell you, it's right here.
Let me tell you something.
It's right here. You in the city for it.
You in the room with us, and I feel like, fam, if I get in there, I'm be like, yo, slide Krit in.
There you go.
But you get in, don't forget your homie. Slide us in. We want to be Wakanda in that big thing too.
Black Panther 3, I'm pretty sure they pretty much done Black Panther 2 as we speak. But even if it's Black Panther 3, man, trust me. Hey. And I got the music for what I know.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Long term, maybe 10 years from now, like what do you want to have accomplished?
Oh, man, well, obviously I wanted Multi to be a label where artists can come through and whatever their natural personality is, they can use that to make the music. And understanding that it didn't take a large marketing budget and it could be a true home. Hopefully getting married and having kids by that time. Because that's life. It'd be nice to live that side. I spent so much time in the studio on tour that I really wasn't living life up until this moment now. So it'd be good to start doing that.
How is that? That's got to be, because I find just on my day to day, trying to find balance of personal versus work.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So how does someone like you, when you got to hit the road, you got to make music, how is that work life balance? How do you find that?
I did on a double album. I was able to give people both sides, and it's made it really easy to communicate with people when they be like, "Oh man, I already know you was going through that, Krit. I ain't gonna bother." You know, it changed the dynamic and in the conversation, and then it made me kind of open up to kind of walk away from the studio sometimes, to walk away from a verse that I might need to do, to not check my email, not go to these websites, not look at my phone, to turn all that stuff off and just be in the moment.
There we go.
Speaking of the double album, so I played my grandpa. He's trying to get more involved in rap now.
Yeah.
And I actually played when "Keep the Devil Off" came out. I played because he's very spiritual.
Hey,
so that's like his ringtone. Now it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Hey,
but
man, if you don't do nothing else, please keep the devil off.
Please.
You know what I'm saying?
Grandpa is definitely a fan of yours.
Man,
so that's
thank
tight.
you.
And also on the double album, you have a hit single with Lloyd. Let me tell you something. I'm a DJ as well.
Let's go.
And as soon as I got it, I was playing. So now that I'm seeing it really get the love, I'm like, I told you.
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it's a natural thing too, because "Keep the Devil Off" was the first single, and then we kind of just watched and saw what people really gravitated to. And 1999 was just one of them ones.
How'd you hook up with Lloyd for that track?
Well, it's crazy. Shout out to Manny Fresh, because Manny Fresh produced it. So I'm in the studio with Manny Fresh, and he was working on his album, or I don't know if the Big Timers project, but he was working.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, come through." And I came through and did a few records, and he was like, "Man, I want to play you a few other songs."
Sound like
and
Manny.
he had a record, and it was just Lloyd hook and Lloyd verse on it. And I was like, I got it. I need it for my album.
I need it.
That has to be mine. Man, was like, bet.
So how does it happen? He has the song. He got the Lloyd tracks already. So then, do you reach out to Lloyd and say, "Lloyd,
definitely reached out.
I'm about to hop on it"?
But I went ahead because for me it's like I need you to
Let me lay it down right now.
I need you to see how this sounds throughout. Like let me do these verses. It took me a month to do the verse because I was like, I don't want to out rap this song. I just want to have fun.
Find the pockets, the
did the
grooves.
song and then send it. Because I want them to hear, like, hey, bro, this is the potential that this has. Like, hey.
Smooth record.
You know, and so it worked. And you're the homie, man. So, yeah. And that wasn't the first record we had done together. So.
Well, we're going to get that played for you. We got to get that played for you. I heard it. We're going to do it. Before we finish up, is there anything, the last thing that, it could be anything on your mind right now that you want to say to the people?
Man, I just tell them to stay blessed, man. Give all the people their flowers while they're on the top side of this earth. You know what I'm saying? I think we sometimes take any action that we have with our families and friends for granted, and then we hold grudges. And this ain't the day and age to be doing that. You don't want to regret when you could literally have made peace with somebody that's important to you. You know, put God first, man, and keep doing whatever you're doing, man. Stay motivated, stay positive.
Words from Big Krit, man. Appreciate you for coming through, bro.
Thank you, man.
That's all love. You fam now, man.
Oh, man, yeah, man. We on the road. We moving, man. I'm just glad we had time to be able to follow through. I apologize for being a few minutes late.
That's all right.
I have to say that. I'm like one of them on-time rappers.
There we go. I like that. I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that. We try to break the culture. We try to, change it a little bit.
I'm trying to change it up, man. You know
there we go. 923-967 The Beat. We're here with Big Krit, man.
Hey.